He has been ready since 6 p.m. He was here in this room at like 5:30, 6 p.m. practicing. Already ready. So, CJ chills out in Singapore while working with his team to help companies in China boost their competitiveness and resilience through their people in a challenging global environment. And today, he's going to tell us how to sell to customers when there's no obvious need. Round of applause for CJ!
Is it okay if I don't use a mic? Can you all hear me? Yeah. Because I got one thing on my hand, I don't really want to take the other thing on the other hand as well. So if you don't mind. So, tonight, our topic is about how to sell to customers when there's obvious need. Or, actually, how to get past no need when you are pitching to customers. Now, if you have been selling to strangers, this is one of the most common feedback you will ever get. It doesn't matter whether you're a sales professional, whether you are a speaker or consultant pitching to businesses, doesn't matter whether you are doing fundraising or fundraising campaign. Your most common feedback is going to be no need or no need now. Right. So this is a common thing. Now, at the moment when I say no need, the disconnect, doesn't matter whether you are texting them or you're calling them, they just disconnect. Now, some customers are a little bit better. They say a few more words. So they'll say something like, oops, yeah. They'll say something like, we already have a similar product and we're quite happy with it. And then they follow up with, no need. Now, when you say that, when customers say that, some salespeople get very excited because this customer say a few more words. So this salespeople will say that, now a lot of people will say that we are the same as everybody else, but if you want to give me 35 seconds, you'll find out that we'll be different from everybody else, right? And to a customer, instead of saying no need, they'll say no thank you. So that's customers' responses. Now, why is it that customers are so defensive? Why is it that, well, what did salespeople do? What did salespeople do to make customers so resistant? Now, one of the key things that salespeople tend to do is to ask questions like, do you need something? Or would you like to do something? And when you say things like, do you need something or would you like to do something, what happens is it tends to add pressure on the customer. It tends to make the customer feel pushed, and they'll tend to either push you back or they want to run away. It's standard fight or flight response. So even if I were to ask you things like, would you like to get free vouchers worth $100? You may not even believe it and may even think that this is a kind of scam. So what can we do? What can customers or what can salespeople do to actually make customers more willing to speak to you? How can salespeople strike? How can salespeople strike meaningful and authentic conversations with customers? Now, the key word here is conversation. It's not about selling. It's not about telling the customer or proving to the customer how great you are. It's about finding the angle that you can connect or engage with the customer in authentic ways that the customers would like to have that conversation with you. Right, so instead of asking things like, would you like to, maybe you can change a little bit and ask things like, would you be open to explore, or are you okay to explore certain things? Now, just to give an example, we have worked with this IT security company. They help companies to fight or protect them against ransomware. You know, the kind of software that locks up your system and you're going to pay these hackers a hefty ransom in order to have that access to that software. Now, a lot of companies out there actually think that if you have the latest antivirus software, it will solve everything. But the truth is, it's not that simple. So when this IT software company, security company, when they approach a customer, they usually will ask, would you like to improve your protection against ransomware? And of which the customer says, no need. So after working with them for a bit, what we did was to change it slightly and say, would you be open to explore how you are handling or dealing with potential ransomware attacks, and if there would be ways to make it better, or there would be ways to make you safer. Now, when we did this, of course, there will be still customers who will respond with no need, no time, right? No thank you, and etc. Now, what happened was that their customer engagement rates for those initial contacts increased by 50%. And of course, there'll still be customers who are not responsive, and what do you do with that? What they did was to focus on those who are more responsive. They got 50% more customers who are willing to talk to them. Those who are not responsive are not going to buy anyway. So by having that authentic conversation with customers, what both sides are trying to do is to build mutual trust, to spend time to build that mutual trust, to get to know each other, and that trust is going to have, is going to build mutually respectful and equal relationship. Now, from the customer's perspective, customers don't just buy from people they like. They buy from people they trust. It's a matter of how you actually respond to customers in more authentic ways and engage them in a conversation. It's not about pushing the sell. What you want to do is to make the customer and encourage the customer to keep on talking. Earlier on, we talked about finding that angle to engage in some kind of authentic conversation. So how do you find the angle? One of the key things that we can do is to use empathy. So by having empathy, what we mean is to really understand what the customer is experiencing, what the customer is going through. So we have a story here. We will just use an example of how do you then sell ice and snow to Eskimos? Now, why should Eskimos buy ice and snow? They've got ice and snow all around them in abundance. Why would that be a need? Now, if you were to observe a little bit more, you'll find that some Eskimos actually need to spend a few days out in the wilderness hunting. And when they're out in the wilderness hunting, they usually will need to build this. They need to build igloos to live in there and protect them from the wild. Now, think about this, using some bit of empathy. You're there hunting seals, fishing for fishes, and really out in the wilderness. You have a long day hunting, and then you still need to build your igloo to stay for a night. Now, what if you can ask the Eskimo that perhaps you can help them to build igloo? Now, of course, if you ask the Eskimo, do you like us to build an igloo for you? Usually, the Eskimo will answer you, no need, right? But if you can change a little bit and say that, would you like to explore how you go about hunting and see if you can actually maximize your catch, you may actually get a better response. But then again, we may never know until this guy here, this guy here, whom we all know, brings us on an expedition to the uptick, as Mr. Robinson brings us to an expedition to the uptick and asks a real Eskimo and find out whether by asking, would you be willing to explore, or would you be open to explore how you can actually maximize that catch, right? Then we'll find out the answer. Now, generally speaking, customers don't sit there thinking they are in deep trouble and needing your help. No, customers don't feel that they're having a problem at all. What we need to do is to find an angle, engage the customer, and not just getting past the knowing phase, build the trust, and see if it opens doors for you in the future. So, what's the key takeaway today? For me, it's about having all of you joining together and have more authentic conversations with fellow members. That's my takeaway. And my name is CJ. This is my LinkedIn QR code. Would you be open to explore more opportunities to build a speaking business with me? Thank you.